Shri Krishna, Shri Krishna, Shri Krishna, Shri Krishna. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। इंद्रियस्य अर्थे सर्वेन्द्रियाणाम् अर्थे शब्दादि विषये इष्टे रागः अनिष्टे द्वेषः इति एवं प्रति इंद्रियार्थे रागद्वेषौ अवश्यम भाविनौ। It is natural. There is no abnormality if you don't like something or somebody, or if you like something or somebody. It is inherited from our earlier experiences. Now about that we can't do anything. Then what we can do? The only choice is that tayoho vasham na agachet. So we should not come under the sway thereof, because this raga dvesha is the looter of our peace within, and thus we go away from the truth. Then how do we control them? Pratipakshena. Pratipakshena means that we should have this kind of inquiry within our mind, that by following what we like and by not following what we don't like, what is going to happen is we are going to strengthen our liking and disliking. And this is not the way of a seeker. A seeker is the one whose attention is on the purification of the mind. In this manner, pratipakshena, they are doing the pratipaksha bhavana. What are the wrong things? If we continue to be involved in all these things, we should think. Now, tatra ragadvesha prayukto manyate shastratham ati anyatha paradharmaha api dharmatvad anushtheya eva iti tad asat. So when we are under the influence of ragadvesha prayuktaha shastrartham api anyatha manyate. So what is said in the scriptures, that is also taken to be otherwise, not as it is. And then paradharmaha shastrartham manyate, or paradharmaha api dharmatvad anushtheya eva iti. And the paradharma is also taken to be worthy of practice. Means what? We do not function in this world for the purification of the heart. Our interest is the world, not our mind. And therefore such people who are under the influence of the raga dvesha, they are having this wrong notion. And therefore, to remove this wrong notion, Bhagavan says, Shreyan swadharmo vigunaha paradharmat swanushthitat swadharme nidhanam shreyaha paradharmo bhayavaha. Shreyan prashasyataraha swadharmaha vigunaha api vigatagunaha api anushthiyamanaha. Our own duty, our own life's business is important for us, because that alone will help us to grow spiritually. Therefore, prashasyataraha, superior. And although it may not be that good. Now, what is the meaning of vigunaha api? See, when we compare the works, suppose somebody's work is doing the puja and being nearest to the proximity of the God. Oh, he is so lucky, every day he is doing the puja. And the other fellow's work is cooking in the kitchen and in all the time in the heat. So, then the fight will begin between these two people. What do you have to do? Only be near the God in a very comfortable way, all air conditioned, clean and neat, and also take namaskar from all the devotees and receive money. And here we have to work hard in the kitchen. So much of heat and fire and all kinds of things. So, if I get that job, it will be better. This is how we imagine that wherever we are placed by the Lord, it is the wrong placement. And then we want to change it. But by that, what is happening? Why we are placed in a particular place is for removal of the likes and dislikes. But that particular purpose is defeated if we change the situation. And therefore, those who are raga dvesha payuktaha, those who are under the influence of the personal likes and dislikes, they start in this manner the perverted, erroneous thinking. So, therefore the teacher says, Swadharmaha vigunaha api shreyan, and paradharma suanushthitat. Better than, even if you are able to do something better in somebody else's business, yet that will not help you in the purification of your mind. On the contrary, you may add something more, that you will start disliking your own things and you may start liking other things. So the purpose of removal of the likes and dislikes will be defeated. And therefore, swadharme sthitasya nidanam maranam api shreyaha. And therefore, the one who is abiding in his own dharma, there, even if one dies, it is better, because through that process he has already purified himself, and maybe in the next life he will have a better chance. Siddhasya jivitat paradharme jivitat, rather than living in the dependence of others. Tasmat, because paradharmo bhayavaha narakadi lakshanam bhayam avhavati yataha. Because when you don't do your own dharma properly, you are first destined to the hell. Now this is the common meaning given by Bhagavan Shankaracharya according to the Dharma Shastra, Manusmriti ityadi. Now let us go a little deeper in this verse. Shreyan swadharmaha. What is dharma? Dharma is that because of which a thing is the dharma of that thing. Like the fire is fire because of the heat. We call heat as the dharma of fire. Or the sweetness is the dharma of sugar. If there is everything except the sweetness, so the color, the texture, the presentation, yet it will not be called as sugar. It could be urea also. And therefore, what is the dharma, swadharma? Our swadharma is Satchidananda Parabrahma Paramatma. Without this Paramatma Tattva, we cannot exist. So what is the dharma of the jiva? Jiva's dharma is his essential absolute self. And what is this essential absolute self? Vigunaha. There is no Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyasi. So Vigunaha api. So Shreyan, it is the better one, better option for our life. So Shreyan, Swadharmaha, Vigunaha, Paradharma, Su Anushtitat. What is the paradharma? The dharma of other. Now what is the other? Other is Prakriti. So what is the Prakriti's dharma? Prakriti's dharma is Asti Jayate, Vardhate, Vipranamate, Vinashyati iti. All modifications belong to the Prakriti. So Paradharma Su Anushtitat. So if we focus our attention only on the matter aspect, and in that focus we neglect our own real self, so health wise we are perfect, figure wise we are excellent, Money-wise, we are pretty rich. And various qualities such as singing, dancing, and being able to conduct, yourself in a very nice manner in the public. All very goody. But inside there is a desert of frustration, loneliness and all that. Therefore, swadharmaha vigunaha api paradharmasu anushtitat. And therefore, swadharme nidhanam shreyaha. So in this absolute reality, nidhanam means what? The wealth, the treasure. The treasure of absolute freedom is only in the absolute reality. Now see the approach, what a difference it makes. When I take myself to be the jiva, then dharma, adharma, what is my dharma? According to Kshatriya, I should fight the war. If I don't do this and if I go and ask for bhiksha, Brahmana dharma, then I will be sent to the hell. So this dharma, adharma, etc. is based on the foundation of jiva bhava. Now when you take this approach, everything disappears. Swadharme nidhanam shreyaha. So in this absolute self that we are, there, shreyaha nidhanam, everything is, the highest treasure of our life is our own self. And paradharmo bhayavaha, and giving it up, the absolute one, we get into the relative existence. So what is the relative existence? Bhayavaha, nothing but the inviter of miseries and fear. Because dvitiyat vai bhayam bhavati. Bhayavaha means bhaya avaha. Avaha means invokes or invites. So whenever we are leading life with the relativity as a jiva to achieve or to protect from this world or in this world, there is nothing but the fear is going to be our lot. So in this manner, by this verse, you can understand two ways. One way, accepting the jiva, that we are the jiva and we have to do our dharma, for that only we are here, for the purification of the heart. And if your mind is purified, then you will find out different meaning from the same verse. Because now, these things do not trouble you. So, after having said this, Arjuna vacha, now Arjuna asks a question. Yadyapi anarthamulam dhyayato vishayan pumsaha ragadveshau yasya paripanthinau iti cha uktam vikshiptam anavadharitam cha tad uktam tad sankshiptam nishchitam cha idam eva iti jnatum icchan Arjuna uvacha jnatehi tasmin tad uchchedaya yatnam kuryama iti. Although in the topic in the second chapter, dhyayato vishayan pumsa sangasteshu upajayate, etc. And in this chapter, in the 34th verse, raga dveshau yasya paripanthinau, these likes and dislikes are the looters on the path of realization. In this manner, these are the uktam anarthamulam. The main cause of all our miseries of our life is this desire, this raga dvesha, the contemplation only about the worldly things. And vikshiptam anavadharitam chatad uktam. And this was said in different places, in different contexts. However, it was not emphasized that this is the problem. And anavadharitam chatad uktam. Therefore, it was not emphatically presented that the real cause of all our misery is only the desire and nothing else. So, tat sankshiptam nishchitam cha evam jnatum, and that has to be recognized with conformity and without any ambiguity. Icchan, desiring so, Arjuna uvacha. Arjuna asked this question. Why he asked this question? Jnatehi tasmin. When this is known, tad uchchedaya, for the removal of these, I shall put forward efforts, yatnam kuryama iti. And therefore, Arjuna is asking the question. Although this topic is already covered, yet it is again being asked in clear terms. Arjuna uvacha ath kena prayuktoyam papam charati purushaha anichannapi varshneya baladiva niyojitaha. Now see this question and question asked by the student in Kenopanishad, same time. Keneshitam patati preshitam manaha. And here the same question is there. But the type and the quality of the student is different. Here the student Arjuna is taking himself to be a jiva, the doer of dharma or adharma, the one who is afraid of going to hell and wanting to go to heaven. He who is taking the responsibility that he is the creator of somebody's death and somebody will be killed by him. Now for such a person, the approach of life will be different. Now in Kenopanishad, when the students ask, Asa Keneshidam patati preshidam manaha. So he has already transcended the importance of desire in his mind. Therefore, there we have analyzed it, we have seen there how the teacher is very clear. It is not by the desire that the mind or the faculties are moving. For example, don't we desire that our mind should not run here and there? We desire. So, does the mind listen to us? Many times, those people who have got, let us take the Parkinson's disease. Now, when they have got a Parkinson's problem, now they don't want to move their hand, but it keeps on moving. Now, what is that? That means desire is not the factor which is enlivening the life. Now, Arjuna's problem is not of that highest quality. Arjuna's problem, why we do palm? See? That is why, when your standpoint is different, your inquiry has got a different flavor. And when you come in contact with people, by the very presence of the person, even before he opens his mouth, you can know what smell is going to come out. Because where that person is talking from, what angle is taking. Like the other day, that one person says, Swamiji, I want to spend some time with you. I said, I don't have time to spend with you. No, I want to ask something. I said, start right away. Here, I said, yes, here. And but somebody will hear, I said, nobody is interested in you. Will you go ahead? And started. That I am so and so, I have done this thing, and now I am so and so. I said, you have no problem. Problem is for me that I have to listen to you. What is your problem? This you are telling about yourself. That is not the problem. See? Therefore, here Arjuna is asking this question, why we commit sins? Atha kena prayuktaha. Engaged, employed by whom? Purushaha, ayam purushaha papam charati. This person is engaged in the sinful activities. And how? Anichan api. Although undesiring. Many times we do certain things which we don't want to do, and yet we do. Such as when the good food comes in front by mistake. And we decide, I will not take today. Today I decided to take, fast. And that day by mistake the sabji or the dal or rice becomes very tasty. But beyond that there is nothing to taste. So we take little more, and afterwards I think I should not have taken anichan api. Hey Varshneya, hey Vrishnikulotpanna, hey Sri Krishna, baladiva, as if somebody is forcibly niyojita, engaging us to do the bad things. So, atha kena, hetu bhutena, What is the cause? Prayuktaha son, engaged, ordered son, Raja iva vrityaha, as if the king is ordering his servant. Ayam papam karma charati. So one gets into this wrong kind of activities, acharati purushaha. Swayam anichan api, although he himself doesn't want to do the wrong things. He vrishnikula prasuta balad iva niyojitaha, as if rajnya iva iti uktaha drishtantaha. So when the king is under the force telling the person, do this, and whether the servant wants or not, poor fellow, he has to do. In the same manner, who is that because of whom we are going the wrong way? This is the question. On the basis of this only in Mahabharata, our Duryodhana Maharaj says the same thing. That janami dharmam nacha me pravrittihi, janami adharmam nacha me nivrittihi. I know what is right, but I will not do it. And I know what is wrong, but that I will do it. This is how it happens. So who is that? So Duryodhana says, Kenapi devena hridisthitena yatha niyuktosmi tatha karomi. Somebody inside, some God is seated inside, and that God is telling me to do some good or bad. And what is that God? He is replied here. Bhagavan replied this. Now Sri Bhagavan vacha Shrunutvam tam vairinam sarva anarthakaram yatvam pruchasi. You want to know who is that enemy, who is the cause of all the bad things in our life? What you have asked, listen. Sri Bhagavan vacha. Now here, for the first and the last time, Bhagavan Shankaracharya defines what is the meaning of Bhagavan. So, Aishwaryasya samagrasya dharmasya yashashasriyaha vairagyasyaatha mokshasya shannam bhaga itirina. These 6 things put together is called as Bhaga. Like we have got Shamadhi, Shadaka, Sampatti. So which are the 6 things? Samagra Aishwarya, complete lordship. Samasya dharma, samasya dharmasya, the complete dharma. Then samasya yashashaha, the complete victory. Then shriyaha, total prosperity. And samagra vairagya, and complete dispassion. And samagra moksha is complete liberation. These 6 things put together are called as Bhaga. So Bhagavan, he who is having these 6 qualities in its completeness, is called as Bhagavan. And therefore Sri Bhagavan vacha, Bhagavan Krishna is Bhagavan. On the basis of this Arya Samajis, those who are allergic to call Bhagavan Sri Krishna as Bhagavan, they always have this argument. I was in Holland, and in one Arya Samaj temple I was taken. So there they will be writing all the Vedic mantras which are difficult to read and nothing you can understand out of them. So all that was written, and then after their social function was over, somebody's birthday, somebody's all, because it is a social structure. And then one of that Pandit, he said, Swamiji, I want to discuss something with you. I said, I don't know anything, what will you discuss? You should discuss with a wise man. I am an otherwise person, I know nothing. Why you people, because in your talk you said Bhagwan Krishna, why do you call him Bhagwan? I said, okay, you call him Yamuna Kinare Wala Chora. I had no objection. He said, no, but you should not call him Bhagwan. I said, okay, I will not call hereafter. I am sorry. Over. And then he wanted to emphasize. So I was not giving him any chance. He said, no, do you know why we should not call him Bhagwan? I said, because you told me. It is enough for me. Because I am an obedient servant of yours. You just tell me and I will follow that. And then they go on arguing. So, who told us about Sri Krishna Paramatma? Vedavyas ji. in his all Puranas and in his Mahabharata. Now when he himself calls him Bhagavan, why should we object? And if you don't like, don't call. So Sri Krishna is introduced to us by Veda Vyasji, and Veda Vyas himself calls him Bhagavan Sri Krishna, and you accept Veda Vyasa's other things, except this thing. Therefore, this kind of obsession should not come in our mind. Such people are never benefited because they create doubt. Na buddhi bhedam janayet ajnanam karma sanginam. If somebody is happy by calling him Bhagavan and he is able to be disciplined, it is good. Let him call. How does it matter? Then second is Aishwaryadi Shatakam Jasmin Deve Vasudeve Nityam Apratibadhatvena Samastena Cha Vartate. So this Aishwarya Ityadi, the 6 things in Bhagavan Vasudeva Nityam and Apratibadhatvena Samastena, always without any hindrance and in its completeness exists, and therefore he is called as Sri Bhagavan Vacha. This is from Vishnu Puran. There is another verse, Utpattim pralayam chaiva bhutanam agatim gatim vetti vidyam avidyancha savacho bhagavaniti. He is called as Bhagavan, he who knows Utpattim pralayam cha, the creation and the dissolution, then bhutanam agatim gatim, all the movement of the things and the beings, coming and going, their changes, their beginning, their end, vetti vidyam cha avidyam cha, and also the karma and the upasana, the knowledge and the ignorance, everything he who knows, he is called as Bhagavan. So, utpatyadi vishayam cha vijnanam yasya sa vasudevo vacho bhagavaniti. And therefore, he who has this knowledge about utpatti, etc., creation, etc., he is called as Vasudeva, Bhagavan, and therefore Sri Bhagavan Vacha. Therefore, as I told you in the beginning, do not translate the meaning of Sri Bhagavan Vacha, Bhagavan Bole, or Sri Krishna Bole, Arjun Bola. No. It has this depth, that the words from the mouth of Bhagavan Sri Krishna, this is the Shastra. He was not a mortal. He was an avatar. He was not a prophet. He was the absolute reality descending in the relativity. Ajopi sannavyayatma bhutanam ishwaropi san. And therefore this word should be taken as the authentic declaration or the essence of the Vedas. That is why, Nasti buddhira yuktasya nacha yuktasya bhavana. If we have that bhavana in us, that means when we are reading Sri Bhagavan Vacha and start Kamaesha Krodhaesha Rajoguna Samudbhavaha, and if we are able to do the bhavana that now Bhagavan himself is talking, you will see the difference in your experience. Therefore, whenever we are chanting Bhagavad Gita, at least during that time, Bhagavan Sri Krishna is residing on our tongue and he only is talking. Therefore, do this with this bhavana, then alone the joy and the rasa of Bhagavad Gita will start experienced by you. Kama esha krodha eshaha rajoguna samudbhavaha mahashano mahapapma Viddhenamiha vairinam. Enam iha vairinam viddhi. Recognize him to be the enemy in this life, in this body. Who is that? Kama eshaha sarvaloka shatruhu yan nimitta sarva anartha praptihi praninam. स एष कामः प्रतिहतः केनचित् क्रोधत्वेन परिणमते अतः क्रोधः अपि एष एव. So this kama, he is the enemy number one of all the beings, because of which everyone suffers in this world. And when pratihataha, when the desire is not allowed to be fulfilled, then because of anybody or anything, then it is krodhatvena parinamate. It is converted, modified, reflected or perverted into anger. And therefore krodha api esha eva. So anger alias desire is the enemy number one in our life. And because of that, we go the wrong way. See, kama do not limit the meaning to any one particular aspect of life. Any obsession about anything is a desire. Like, we like cleanliness, that is a desire. We like laziness, that is a desire. We like too much of study, that is a desire, shastreshana. And therefore, this is anartha prapti hetuhu, is the cause of creating all the miseries in our life. Now, rajoguna samudbhavaha, rajogunat samudbhavaha yasya sa kamaha. And where from the desire comes? Desire comes from rajoguna. Or rajoguna samudbhavo rajogunasya va samudbhavaha. Or other way, because of the desire, the rajoguna is invoked. Both ways you can take it. And they are mutually helping each other. Kama, desire, is the child of rajoguna, and because of this because of this kama, desire, again the rajoguna is increased. So kamo hi udbhuto rajaha pravartayen purusham pravartayati. Therefore, first of all, the desire invokes the rajoguna in a person, and then this rajoguna engages a person for any kind of activity. And how it is? Trushnaya hi aham karitaha iti dukkhitanam rajakkarye sevadav pravrittanam pralapo shruyate. So, when a person under the influence of the rajoguna is under the influence of these miseries, and therefore trushnaya hi aham karita iti, I am suffering because of this desire. Dukkhitanam rajakkarye sevadav pravrittanam pralapa shruyate. When these people are doing anything under the influence of rajoguna, they are always complain and they are always frustrated and they are always crying. And they say, because of the desire, we have become the slaves, etc., etc. And now what the desire does? Maha ashanaha. Mahat ashanam asya iti maha ashanaha. Ateva mahapapma. So, there is no way that the desire can be fulfilled. Therefore, maha ashanaha. Ashana means eating. His hunger is unsatiating hunger. And because of this unsatiation of the hunger, then mahapapma, kamena hi preritaha jantu papam karoti. When we are under the influence of or under the promptings of the desire, a person is bound to commit sins. Ataha vidhi enam kamam iha samsare vairinam. Therefore recognize who is this enemy because of whom we are engaged into the wrong practices. In this world, it is nothing but desire, desire, desire. So, what we have to do? Be very attentive. Whenever in your life you get disturbed, angry, agitated on any issue, recognize that is where you are tied down. That is where the desire is working on you. See? And once you become aware of that, then only you can think about getting out of it. Like, some people get very angry when somebody comes late. So, he is having that desire. Everybody should be disciplined. And because of that terrible obsession about the discipline, everything becomes secondary. Only by discipline the things don't move. Discipline must be substantiated by love, understanding, reverence, mutual respect, etc. So wherever we are obsessed, we become angry, and that is the desire. So correct yourself immediately. Therefore, remember I told you long time back that when I was with Akhandanji Maharaj, this is what has really enchanted me. Nothing could disturb him. Why nothing can disturb him? Because of these two things. One, there is absence of desire of any kind. And second thing, he is abiding in the self. So it is a foolproof method now. No, nothing in this world, and this itself is called as realization. When you are abiding in the self, there cannot be any desires. And when there are no desires, then only you can abide in the self. Therefore, recognize in this samsara, this kama as the enemy. And when you are dealing with the enemy, don't have compassion. Enemies must be killed. And this is how many times in our history, if you see, the enemies were conquered, and out of that great goodness they were released. And the same enemies afterwards became a problem. No. Once enemy is detected and proved he is the enemy, he should not be spared. That is the creed of Bhagavan Sri Krishna. That ahimsa under the disguise of this foolishness is not right. Katham vari iti drishtantaihi pratipadayati iti pratyayati. How this kama desire is the enemy is explained through some examples. Dhume navriyate vannihi yatha darsho malena cha yathol benavruto garbha tatha tene damavrutam. Dhumena sahajena. Sahaja means along with. So the smoke that is born along with the fire, vannihi avriyate prakashatmakaha aprakashatmakena. The smoke does not have the light, and the fire has the light. When you try to burn the wood, along with the fire, smoke is born, and the smoke which is not of the nature of the light covers the fire which is of the nature of the light. One example. Second, yathava or adarshaha malenacha. The mirror is meant for reflecting our face. But if the mirror is covered with a lot and lot of dust, then you cannot see your beautiful face reflected in the mirror. And third example, yatha ulbena garbhaveshtanena jarayuna avrataha achaditaha garbhaha. Or the third example is just like by the placenta and the womb, the garbha or the embryo or the fetus is covered. Tatha, in the same manner, tena idam avrutam. By that, this is covered. So by this kama, what is covered? This is said in the next verse. Kim punaha tad idam shabdavacham yat kamena avrutam iti uchyate. So what is that which is covered by the desire is said in the next verse. Avrutam jnanametena jnanino nitya vairina kamarupena kaunteya dushpurena nalena cha. Avrutam etena jnanam. Jnaninaha nitya-vairina. So, etena nitya-vairina jnaninaha jnanam avritam. This is how it will become the prose order. Etena, by this. What is this? Nitya-vairi. The third, case. So, by this eternal enemy, the knowledge is covered. Eternal enemy of whom? Jnanina. Those who are walking the path of discrimination, for them the desire is eternal enemy. Because jnani hi janati anena aham anarthe prayuktaha purvam eva iti. Because he knows that by the desire alone I am being dragged away in the wrong direction. Dukhi cha bhavati nityam eva. And therefore, whenever desires are overpowering a jnani, he becomes miserable. Ataha asau jnaninaha nitya-vairi natu murkhasya. See? So when a person is under the influence of the desire and desires are disturbing him, then he is a jnani because he has become aware of that. And second, na murkhasya. But the fool is very happy when he has desires. Why? Sahi kamam trishna kale mitram iva pashyan tat karye dukkhe prapte janati. So at the time of the arrival of the desire, this ignorant person thinks that he is my real friend. And tat karye, and when the result of that desire comes, then dukkhe prapti janati. Then he comes to know when he gets the kicks out of the same desires. Trishnaya aham dukkhitvam apaditaha iti. Because of these desires, I am suffering in this world. Now purvam, earlier I wasn't like that. Ataha eva jnaninaha eva nitya-vairi. And therefore the desire is eternal enemy of these wise people. Now these two things put together we'll try to see. As I told you earlier, the desires are of three varieties. We have seen it right from the first chapter. The sattvic, tamasic and the rajasic. The tamasic desires are the one which are removed only by patience and passage of time. Such as yatha ulbena garbha avritaha. So like to see the child in the womb, what you have to do? Wait. No, but I am in a hurry. I just want to see what it is. Can't we see and put it back? No. There is no way. You have to wait. Therefore the tamasic desires will be removed from our life through time, through patience. So unless we have patience, we will never be able to conquer the impact of tamasic desires. Now the second thing, yatha adarshaha malena cha. When the mirror is covered with the dust, so you have to put little more efforts. Take first of all a dry cloth, remove it, then take little bit wet newspaper and rub it properly. And after all the grease and everything is removed, then again take a dry cloth and make it clean or with a tissue paper. And in this manner, you will be able to see your reflection perfectly. Now the third kind of desire, sattvic desire, very easy to remove. Like if you have to remove the smoke covering the fire, you don't have to do anything except little bit of fanning is enough. In the same manner, when we are under the influence of this tamasic desire, it takes time. When we are under the rajoguni influence, it will take less time, but we have to put more efforts. And when we are under the influence of the sattvic desires, what is sattvic desire? To do good to others, try to be goody-goody. These are all sattvic desires. And when we come out of that, then only the truth is revealed. And avrutam jnanametena jnaninaha nitya-vairinaha. Now, when we are walking the path of this spirituality, then we come to know that this laziness, etc., is really an enemy. It has to be thrown. But those who say, no, there is such a joy in lazing around in the morning in the bed. You know, those workers came. Yesterday they gave me time at 9 o'clock. I said, okay, I'll be there. Come and finish your job. So, 8:45, I reminded them. I think we are coming at 12 o'clock. I said, why do you think? You come at right away. No, my that other fellow, he said, he cannot come, he is sleeping and all that. I said, what is your work? I will support you here. That has to become bought. I said, I will keep it on the floor when you come. But even then it will take time. I said, how much time? 15 minutes. 1 hour, 15 minutes he took. He came. And after that also, I said, do you know why you people are not progressing in life? It's only because you are lazy of the highest order. I said, look here, the Punjabis, the Sindhis, the Gujaratis, how day and night they work, then they become rich. Only lazying is not the way of life. Now to such a dull-witted fool, what can you do? Only time can teach them. Nobody can teach. Therefore, this type of desires are enemy for the jnani. Such people will never entertain laziness as an excuse. Similarly, the second type of desires are the rajoguni desires. And in that one wants to do sadhana, I will do this, I will do japa, Ram. And then you get frustrated about it. But we don't want to inquire. And always that funny thing in the mind, I think, when I will progress? Progress where? What you want to achieve in life? What you don't have at this moment, find out. But this will not be understood because they are under the influence of the Rajoguna. And then we also appreciate such people, such as Mahatma. He went and stood in the waters and did Gayatri Purascharan for 12 years. And after that, he moved all around the country on, barefooted. And he said, oh, what Bhashya. And then he's a great Mahatma. And a great person, Mahatma like Ramana Maharshi, did not go anywhere. Simply sat in one place. What tapasya he has done? Because the inquiry is the toughest thing. That is why these Rajoguni sadhakas, you see plenty of them. Now the third one is Sattva Guna. When we get under the influence of the Sattva Guna desire, all the time our attention is doing good to the world. This is the worst disease. Those who can't do good to themselves, what good they will do others? You will see all the great masters, they have never started their spiritual practice to help the world. No, help happened as a result of their progress or as a result of their attainment. Therefore, Narinaha Nityaverinaha. And what these desires are further explained. Kim rupena, kama rupena, kama ichha eva rupam asyeti kama rupaha. Tena dushpurena, dukkhena purnam asyeti dushpuraha. And how are the desires? Difficult to fulfill. Desires are extremely difficult to be fulfilled. So by these desires, these jnani, the path a person is walking about the knowledge, is always troubled. Dushpuratena analena asya na alam paryaptihi vidyate iti analaha tena. See, anala means fire. And why the fire is called as anala? Because the fire never says, you put any amount of fuel in that. Fire says, now it is enough, now I will not burn anymore. You go on putting. In the same manner, by fulfilling the desires are not conquered. Please remember this principle. You have to transcend the desire to conquer the desire. Similarly, only by suppression of the desires are not fulfilled or desires are not conquered. You have to only transcend the desires. And what normally we do, either we do a positive effort to fulfill the desire, thereby conquer the desire, or we do a wrong effort as suppression of the desire, and both of them leave abnormality on the mind. But if we understand very simple way that these desires, why do we want to remove them? We want to remove something which is abnormal, isn't it? Had desires been the normal condition of the mind, we will never remove them. And how do we remove them? By fulfilling the desire. Now we have tried so far that by fulfilling desire, one desire we have removed. But the problem of desire is still there. Another desire comes. So desire is common. The objects may go on changing. And therefore, unless you learn what the desire is, so then we come to know desire is a child of wrong notions. First notion, I am incomplete. Second notion, the world is other than me. Therefore, my incompleteness can be fulfilled by getting the worldly objects. And this is how the desire is born. So what you have to do? First of all, find out who you are. Are you really incomplete? And when you discover that you are that infinite reality, you can never have the load of desires to be carried in life. And when you don't have the desire load on your mind, then you are happy all the time. Therefore, after having told about this desire, किम अधिष्ठानः पुनः कामो ज्ञानस्य आवरणत्वेन वैरी सर्वस्येति अपेक्षायाम आह ज्ञाते ही शत्रोः अधिष्ठाने सुखेन शत्रु निबर्हणं कर्तुं शक्यते इति. Now what is the hideouts of this desire, the enemy who is covering the knowledge? So that once we know shatroho adhisthane, once we know where the Shatru, the enemy, is hiding, then Shatru Nibarhanam Kartum Shakyate. One will be able to destroy the enemy if we know where the enemy is hiding. And therefore, Bhagavan says, Indriyani Mano Buddhi Asyadhisthana Muchyate एतैर् विमोहयत्येषः ज्ञानमावृत्य देहिनम्. Now asya kamasya. So indriyani manobuddhi, these are the three places. The senses, the mind and the intellect. Asya kamasya adhishthanam ashraya uchyate. See, when we say desire, like when we say pencil. Now, pencil is an object. In this manner, desire is not an object. Desire is a longing in our mind. And where is the longing? The longing is either in the senses or in the mind or in the intellect. Like, when we have a longing of, let us take salt while taking food, then we will see that the salt is got one way or the other. So that salt is not a problem. The longing for the salt is the problem. Therefore, asya kamasya indriyani mano buddhi adhishthanam ashraya uchyate. Then etaihi indriyadibihi ashrayaihi vimohayati vividham mohayati esha kamaha jnanam avritya achadya dehinam sharirinam. So this desire is covering the understanding, the knowledge of this Dehi, this embodied one, by covering and deluding the knowledge, the understanding. Now, I'll go a little deeper. See, these three things. Senses are grossest, mind is subtler, intellect is still subtler. Now, out of these three levels, When the desire is at the level of the senses, it is easier to control. When the desire has gone and attacked the mind, then if our desire is not fulfilled, we become sentimental and start crying. Isn't it? And when the same desire has now first conquered the senses, then conquered the mind, and now has infected the intellect, then what happens? It is my right to do, whether right or wrong, don't care. So the desire becomes a conviction. And when the desire becomes a conviction, we are totally lost. Like the different degrees of burning. First grade burning, second grade burning, third grade burning, or the different degrees of cancer. First degree cancer, second degree cancer, third degree cancer. After it has gone there, now it can't be cured. In the same manner, before this cancer of desire attacks our personality, let us take care. And therefore Bhagavan says, Tasmat tvamindriyanyadau Niyamya bharatarshava Papmanam prajahihenam Jnana vijnana nashanam. Now once we know that the desire is hiding in these three places or operating from these three abodes, so where from to start working on the desire problem? Adau, beginning, indriyani niyamya. So start your spiritual practice by controlling your faculties, your senses under control. First step. And then only you will be able to uproot this desire enemy. So tasmat tvam indriyani adau purvam niyamya vashikritya bharatarshava papmanam papacharam kamam prajahi parityajya. So give up your desires for the enjoyment of the worldly things. Enam prakrutam vairanam jnana vijnana nashanam. And this desire is the enemy who is the destroyer of the both knowledge and wisdom. Now what is the knowledge and wisdom? Jnana vijnana. Jnanam shastrataha acharyataha cha atmadinam avabodaha is knowledge. What we have learned from the scriptures, from the acharya, and also about the self, that is called as the knowledge, jnanam. So atmadinam avabodaha. So we are now able to understand what exactly is meant by Atma. Now by Atma we don't mean the world. By Atma we don't mean the body. By Atma we don't mean the mind, prana, etc. But by Atma we don't mean the jiva also. But by Atma we mean the absolute self. So how we have known this thing? Because shastrataha acharyataha. Now see, that is why many people who imagine spiritual practice means only getting lost into the wild desert of ignorance. No, you have to know each and everything. Then only you will be able to go ahead in your spiritual path. That is why it is so important that we must know everything clearly, and for that scriptures must be studied from the acharya, and then the avabodha, recognition comes. So that is called as jnanam. Vijnanam visheshataha tad anubhavaha. So after we have the knowledge about the self, etc., then alone it can be experienced. If we have no knowledge, we cannot experience. Therefore, tad visheshataha tad anubhavaha tayoho jnana vijnanayoho shreya prapti hetvoho nashanam prajahihi atmanaha parityajya ityataha. So this the enemy of the self, this Kama, who is the destroyer of the knowledge and the wisdom, kill him, destroy him, parityajya, give him up instantaneously. From where? From indriya, start from the senses. Therefore, इंद्रियाणि आदौ नियम्य कामम शत्रुम जहि इति उक्तम तत्र किमाश्रयः कामम जह्याद इति उच्यते. नाउ वन मोर स्टेप इज टेकन. With the support of whom should I conquer the desires? Because I see in myself, I don't have, strength. The kama becomes so powerful that I lose all the proportion. Because maha ashanaha maha papmaha. You have seen, how these people who are under the influence of desire and anger, how they behave. I remember a person who was very obsessed with good food. And I went to their house and I couldn't imagine how can people even behave like this. We were sitting for food and everything was given. And chapati that was given to that man was not that hot. It was not cold. It was not hot, directly from tawa. Little bit cold. Got so angry in front of so many people sitting. He just pushed his thali like, I don't want to take such a dirty food, and got up and went away. Then some other people say, Baoji नहीं गलती होगी माफ करना, हम आपको फिर से बना के देते हैं. You can imagine how much that desire and anger makes a cartoon of us. And therefore, such people, do you think they are happy with themselves? No. They are disgusted of themselves. Afterward they say, I don't know, I'm so sorry, I should not have done. But when that anger comes, when that desire comes, they overpower him. So here Bhagavan is telling, Kim ashrayaha kamam jayhad, with whose support can I conquer the desire? Indriyani paranyahuhu. Indriyebhya param manaha. Manasastu para buddhihi. Buddhe paratastu saha. Indriyani prani ahuhu. Where did we see this mantra? In Kathopanishad. Both these mantras in part. So, Indriyani Shrotradini Pancha Deham Sthulam Bayam Parichinnam Chapeksha Saukshmyad Antarasthatvat Vyapitva Aditva Vyapitwadi Apeksha. So, these our senses, like the ears, etc., they are subtler, more pervasive and more nearer in comparison to our gross body. Therefore, they are called as parani, prakrushtani, ahuhu panditaha, wise people say. So, our senses are subtler, more nearer and more pervasive than the gross body. Then, tebhyaha indriyebhyaha param manaha. Now, in comparison to the senses, the mind is nearer, more pervasive and more subtler. What is the mind? Sankalpa vikalpatmakam manaha. The mind which is the seat of all the sankalpa vikalpa. Now, tatha manasaha tu parabuddhihi nishchayatmika. Now, even subtler, nearer and more pervasive is the intellect. Because intellect can pierce, go beyond, peep beyond the frontier of knowledge. Mind can function only within the boundary of knowledge. Mind cannot go beyond that. But intellect has the capacity, the daring and the ability to go beyond the known areas of knowledge. Therefore, when we want to praise somebody, what we say, he is very intelligent. That means his knowledge is not limited by the present availability of knowledge. Therefore, intellect is more pervasive, more subtler and more nearer to us. So, that is buddhi nishchayatmika. Tatha yaha sarvadrishyebhyaha buddhyantebhyaha abhyantaraha And that who is nearer than the whole objective world, starting from the objective world, the body, the indriya, the mind and the intellect. He who is nearer than all of them, yam dehinam indriyadibihi ashrahi yuktaha kamaha jnana avarana dvarena mohayati iti yuktam saha buddhehe drashta paramatma. So, this desire can sit on the senses, desire can sit on the mind, desire can operate on the intellect, but that which is beyond the three. What is beyond the three? Beyond the three is Parabrahma, Paramatma. So if you want to conquer the desires, only external efforts are not enough. But you have to find out your essential nature as to what and who you are. And once you discover that you are that eternal reality, incomplete in no way, everything is within me, then automatically the desires will disappear. Therefore, manasastu para buddhi jo buddhehe paratastu saha. He who is beyond the intellect, he is that absolute self saha. Now, continuing this, evam buddhe param buddhva samstabhyatmanamatmana jahi shatrum mahabaho kamarupam durasadam. Evam buddhehe param atmanam buddhva jnatva. In this manner, recognizing the self who is beyond the intellect. Now be very attentive. In the intellect, the expression of the Atma is Jiva. Now when here Bhagavan is telling, Evam buddhehe param means not the Jivatma. See, this point I am again and again emphasizing. If we consider ourselves to be the Jiva, our spiritual practice will be, I want liberation. If we consider ourselves to be Parabrahma, Paramatma, our spiritual practice will be liberation from I. It makes a world of difference. Now when I want liberation, what we are doing in our life? The same thing. I want liberation from poverty, so I earn money. Then I want liberation from the diseases, I become healthy. Then I want liberation from the village, I go to the city. Now I want liberation from the city, I go to the state capital. I want liberation from the state capital, I go to USA. And I want liberation from USA, I come back again to Khopoli. See? There is no end to this running of this I. On the contrary, once we approach the whole problem from the absolute standpoint, there is no I. There is only but one undivided, infinite, absolute reality. And it is only to be recognized. And therefore, evam buddhehe param atmanam buddhva jnatva samstabhya samyak stambhanam krutva svena eva atmana sanskritena manasa samyak samadhaya ityartaha. Samstabhyatmanam atmana, that means now you educate yourself about all these things. What is the desire, what is the mind, what is the intellect, what is the ego, and what is the meaning of the absolute self. And by this education, get yourself firmly rooted in this absolute self. That is called as samstabhyatmanam atmana. So, samadhaya, samyak samadhaya ityartaha. And this can happen only sanskritena manasa. When our mind is exposed to scriptures, proper study, proper understanding, self-control, and focusing attention on the absolute, going beyond the relativity, not giving importance to the desire fulfillment, but aim is to transcend the desires. In this manner, when we become aware and start living our life, Then samstabhyatmanam atmana. By this what will happen? Jahi enam shatrum he mahabaho. So this Shatru, this enemy, hey Arjun, Mahabaho, you are capable. Don't think that you cannot do that. Because Arjuna's question was, who is compelling? Nobody can compel if you are powerful. Therefore the word hey Mahabaho. So don't underestimate your own abilities. You can and you must. So Jahi Shatrum Mahabaho, Kama Rupam Durasadam, Dukkhena Asada Asadanam Praptihi Yasya. That which can be attained with great difficulty and problems, that durasadam, durvidneya aneka vishesham iti. And therefore, this kama is so terrible that the more you talk about it, more complicated it becomes. Therefore, it is very necessary that Arjuna, if you want to know why we go the wrong way, because we are under the influence of desire. Like you have the desire. I don't want to kill my people. Who thinks that he is having the freedom to kill somebody or what? Everything is happening in this world with his will. But ahankara vimudhatma kartaham iti manyate. We start imagining we are doing and therefore we suffer. So in this manner, this third Shrimad Bhagavad Gita su Upanishadsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Sri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Karma Yogo Nama Tratiyo Dhyayaha. This statement is attributed to Madhusudan Saraswati Ji Maharaj. It doesn't appear in the original Mahabharata. Therefore, Bhagavad Shankara's commentary is not on this. With this, we completed the third chapter of Gita, and the next chapter will start when we'll have our next camp. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnaat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.